Hello, I'm Kay Foley of This Week with George Stephanopoulos, and since we believe all politics is social here, in a few moments we're going to go behind the scenes with Christiane Amanpour, ABC News' Global Affairs anchor, and ask her some of your questions from Facebook and Twitter. Good morning, Christiane, and thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Sonia Kuhlman asks, who do you consider the most important person you've interviewed?
You know, I've had the very great opportunity to be on a platform, ABC and CNN, where I've been able to interview many important people throughout the last 20 years. I would say that from presidents to prime ministers, men and women, it's all been really interesting. One of the most game-changing interview I ever did was with the reform president of Iran. It was such a surprise because everybody's so used to the Ayatollahs and just being anti-American and being very authoritarian to the Iranian people. Up comes this man, his name was Khatami. I got the first exclusive interview with him, and what he said really changed the way Iran behaved for many years and also the way the West and the rest of the world looked at Iran. So that for me, in terms of how it was a cultural, political game changer, was very important. And of course, right now, one of the big films of the year has been Argo, which is about the rupture of relations between the United States and Iran over the hostage crisis more than 30 years ago.
Judith Mayer asks, as a journalist, do you ever fear for your safety or that of your crew? Any close calls?
I always fear for my safety, and all our colleagues do, and I'm very mindful of that when I go into the field. Now, that doesn't mean to say that I don't go. We do go, but we are always, employing that sixth sense that with experience comes, you sort of know when to hold them and when to fold them. You know sort of when to put your foot forward, when to draw back a little bit. You're not out there gung-ho and just, out there sort of being a cowboy, but you are out there because it is vital to be there to tell the stories. No matter how dangerous it is out there, you cannot just sit back at home as opinion mongers or armchair warriors, as I like to call people who just think that they can tell you what's going on overseas from sitting back here in New York or Washington or wherever it is in the United States.
Denise E. Nichols asks or says that she loved the special she did on the Holy Land in the Middle East, and I like that you involved your son. How did the experience affect him, and did you learn anything from the past that can be applied today in the current affairs of the Middle East?
Well, the current affairs of the Middle East could really be solved if everyone would hear the other's story and decide that victory is not a zero-sum game. You cannot win by forcing the other one to lose. You absolutely have to come to the table. The parameters of a Middle East peace accord are out there. They were shaped during the Clinton administration, and everybody knows what a final peace will look like. A land for peace, an arrangement around Jerusalem, keeping certain settlements but giving up others in the occupied territories, and the parameters are out there. So what I learned when I was doing this incredible special with my son, going back to the Old Testament, was something fundamental that perhaps many of us forget. And that is, from the beginning, the three main religions, the monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, come from the same root. We are the Abrahamic faith. We follow the same patriarchs. And to be able to see that with my own eyes and follow their trails, whether it's Abraham, Moses, whoever it might be, and take my son there, was really amazing.
Now we have a fun, quick lightning round. First question, iPhone or BlackBerry?
I use a BlackBerry, but I think the iPhone technology is beautiful.
Favorite movie of the year?
5 Broken Cameras, about the Palestinian narrative in the occupied territories. The Gatekeepers, the Israeli film about these interviewing all the security chiefs. It is fascinating. Searching for Sugar Man, about this fantastic singer who was unknown except in South Africa and now has a second life because of this film. The Invisible War, so important about the wholesale assault of women in the United States military. This must stop. The military is trying, but it must go all the way to make this stop.
And then comfort food?
Comfort food, I was raised in Iran. I love Persian food. It's rice, it's sauces, it's warm, it's comfortable, it's delicious.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, Christiane, and thank you to everyone who submitted their questions. Be sure to follow This Week on Twitter @ThisWeekABC and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ThisWeekABC.